Well, then of course, fast forward into the 2nd or 3rd of April. I think it was right before, the big day it kicked off. Um, our perspective, and I know a lot of people don't know what happened up there. They just hear about this gunfight down in Najaf. But there was some weird tensions, and that's what I think I wanted to talk to you about after all these years. Is some guys, well, I should say a lot of guys have called this the Benghazi of Iraq, and it's like
Uh,
it's because and I remember seeing some weird things up there with the head shed, and arguments and fisticuffs going back and forth with Bremer and the coalition's commander General Sanchez.
Plenty of
Rumsfeld,
that going around.
Rice is back and forth in and out of the office constantly. The big red phone's ringing. I'm hearing him, getting screamed at by Bush at certain times, and you can feel the energy just getting heated up. And then all of a sudden, we start getting calls of Najaf, and I'm on the watch, and I hear this, "Hey, we got something really bad going on down there." I'm kind of like, "Oh shit, that sucks," and I'm a bad Baghdad contractor. We're not getting involved. Like, I got to protect this guy on this
Yeah,
detail here. And
that's 100 miles south.
100 miles south, and that's not happening. So we never even had the thought that any of this was going to go
Right.
down. And then we started getting word that, hey, it's getting hotter. So then you see General Sanchez coming in and out of the office, and he's like, "Sir, it's fine." They're all pulling back to, what was it, Baker? No, it was Golf and Baker, right? And then
Yeah.
most of the people like pulled back something in. By the time information was relayed back and forth, especially your call, I remember Frank and a couple of guys talking about, hey, white boys saying that they're not doing well. They're this. Now you can speak to that part, but and then I hear Sanchez come back in, and there were some derogatory comments back and forth to each other, and I'm just like, holy shit, this is actually happening, and right in front of me. And then all of a sudden I hear Bremer say, "Stop bullshitting me, Sanchez. What the fuck is going on down there? I need to know an essay right now." And he's like, "Sir, they're a bunch of fucking contractors. They're making a big deal out of it. They're just hotheads and want to get some trigger time." He goes, "Don't listen to them." And he's talking about you at this point, now that I've put all these pieces together.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, and he points at me in the corner, and as he's saying this, and I'm like, you have no idea. And so that's when he leaves, and then we got another scratchy call from him. I remember comms were broken,
Yeah.
and that's
At
when
best.
Bremer's like, "Travis," I was like, "Sir," he's like, "Get your boss in here." And so Frank comes in, and he says, "Look, I'm authorizing you by any means necessary." And when I say any means necessary, I mean any means necessary to go in and help and figure out what the hell's going on and give these guys some support, no matter what. And like, they're like, "You mean like with the Little Bird crew? Because that's his
That's
aircraft,
his baby.
that's his squadron. Like, we don't touch that." And all of a sudden, you're going to authorize us? Like, and of course, I think we kind of felt this and looked at each other, and it's like, you can't authorize contractors to offensively engage in combat operations because that's against the Geneva Convention. And so that came up, and he said, "I am authorizing you. I'm going to be writing I forget what the hell it was called, but
An
some type,
addendum.
an addendum to that, to
Yep.
where you will be protected in the event you have to offensively engage to be able to help these people." And he goes, "We can't allow that CPA to be taken." And so then it goes to, I think that's when Frank turned to me and he goes, "You ready?" And I was like, "You don't have to ask me twice, man." And I think I sprinted so fast across that palace, and the palace was huge, right?
Oh,
Have
that's a
you been
long
in
way
it?
to
And
go
it's
to
I remember it take like 11 minutes just to walk across it.
HLZ Washington.
Yeah.
Is
And so I haul ass back to, I think I actually ran across the street to HLZ Washington, told the air crew, "Hey guys, get your shit together. We might be getting called hot." And that's when Steve and everybody, Hack and all those guys were moving around and trying to get things planned. I sprint back to the ready room, start grabbing shit. And I remember looking down at that counter sniper rifle that I shared on the advanced team every once in a while. Never shot it in my damn life, which was,
yeah.
as we know,
Hey.
and everybody out there will probably say, "Yeah, I don't know if I ever shot my actual rifle," and zeroed the damn thing. So that was a liability for us. But we're thinkers, and we can improvise really quickly in the event something happens. But I just happened to grab that, jumped on the aircraft, and everybody's trying to jump on board the aircraft. I know a couple seats gotten taken off of my guys, because I was kind of running the program on the birds at that point as far as the gunner program, and doing all the training and the POI development. And I got two of my gunners kicked off so other guys could go. And for good reason, those guys were good that were on that bird. But then other people try to jump in. I'm like, fucking no, we're going with what we got.
And halt.
And we had so much crap on those little birds. We had to throw shit out of
Yeah.
them. Like I think there was a case of frags I got thrown out and some other stuff because they were so heavy we could barely get off the ground to get down there
Just
to you
think about
guys.
that statement. You threw a case of frags off the helicopter just to get off the ground, and you still got to go 100 miles.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
have no idea,
No idea what we're getting into.
what you're getting into.
Yeah,
Just
and that
take
was
it all, and you can't take it all.
yeah.
So that's that prioritization. It's just like, priority of work inside a room that's just been taken or a structure that's just been taken.
Yeah.
There's a sequence of events, and a lot of people don't realize that oh, we're going to have plenty of time or whatever. There's never enough time. You grab what you have and what you think you might need. My buddy Lucky, he's got a law rocket on his back and his rifle and his gear. Boom, away he goes. And he figures if he needs more than his rifle and his law rocket, he shouldn't have been there in the first place.
Yeah.
Kind of a crazy way to think of things.
Sure.
But,
sure. I remember you guys needed PKM ammo, and that weighted us down the most. We wanted to make sure we had the PKM stuff primarily. And I remember Hacksaw, the lead pilot there, and one of the baddest ass fucking pilots in the world
ever.
And, I mean, all the guys in TFs know who Hack is. And we were skidding the skids to try to get forward momentum so we could start taking off. And I don't think I've ever seen that in a helicopter, but we got up. We headed hauled ass fast as we could, full tilt boogie on those little birds down there. And we ended up stopping because we had no comms with anybody at this point. So now we're flying in blind for a while. We ended up stopping in Babylon at the FARP there, which is a fuel air resupply point. So we sat down, we're refueling the birds and just kind of sitting there going, all right, here we go. This is happening. There's no turning back at this point. And two 264s land, two Apaches. Yeah. And pilot gets out. Of course, they know who Hacksaw is. Hey, dude, what's up, brother? What's up? And they hug and they start chit-chatting and stuff. It's like, where y'all headed? We're like, we're going in Najaf to try to get our guys out. And he says, I wouldn't do that if I were you, Hack. And he's like, what the hell are you talking about? He goes, we just got pulled out of there for a reason. We don't know why. And I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean you got pulled out? Why would Apaches get pulled out? He's like, it's hot. It's nasty right now. Mm-hmm. And that's all we're hearing from these Apache pilots. He goes, there's Vipers on station right now dropping, apparently. We don't know what they're. And so Hack, I remember saying, hey, give me the freaks to those Vipers so I can talk to them and tell them we're coming in hot, not to be dropping any damn ordnance as we're coming in on final. Oops. And he goes, Hack, I can't do that, man, because we're contractors. I get it, right? You can't just hand over military freaks, but like, come on, brother. Well, I'm not going to say what happens, but they go around the back of the helicopter and Hack comes back. He's like, all right, we're good. And I'm like, I'm not going to tell that part of the story, but he's like, let's go. And he goes, by the way, guys, nobody's going to hold anything against you. This is volunteer, like Bremer said. He goes, if anybody wants to back out right now, this is your last chance. You can stay here. We'll pick you up on the way back, or you can find a ride back to Baghdad if you need to, if something worse happens. And so, of course, everybody kind of looked at each other like, I fucking dare you to bow out, right? Yeah. But it was a brotherly thing. Like, we're not, and it wasn't because we wanted to get trigger time. I don't think anybody in that team that I looked around at their eyes.
It's a sense of mission.
There was a sense of duty and compassion there. And the compassion was because we heard from your voice, because that's the only thing we knew is that call was they may not make it through the night. Yep. And that's what drove us to.
We do not hold the night is what I said. We don't
hold the night. That's right. Yeah.
On that same agency sat phone.
Yep. And so we jumped in, and I think 17 minutes later we were over the top, and that's when a freaking that GBU or whatever the hell it was, that 500 pounder hit that building right beside me.
A big warehouse, yeah.
And I thought we got hit by a surface to air or something like that. So did Hack. He's like, whoa, and he's checking the pedals, and I'm like, hey, dude, everything looks fine. And I look out, I was like, whoa, the building just blew up. I don't know if it was an IED or something, but I thought somebody had shot an RPG or something at us.
It was bigger than an RPG.
And that's when we went into orbit, security, and then started dropping supplies to you guys. And then that's when I think somebody was saying like doing this to us. And I remember if it was Hack or Cat Daddy or somebody, which Cat Daddy was killed later, but we said, hey, we're going to set it down, see what the hell's going on. Because we had no comms with you guys. We're just flying around in circles, and we don't know if we're getting shot at or whatnot. And I think that's when that sniper was still in the hospital at that point when they were getting shot up.
When he took off.
Yeah, because I remember we were shooting as soon as we landed. That's when Mookie came up to me and said, he goes, hey, is that a sniper rifle? I was like, yeah. I said, dude, get that fucking thing up the roof right now. I said, oh, okay. And so I followed him and a bunch of guys up there, and that's when he said, hey, keep your head down. There was a sniper in that window, and he called the window out. And I remember there was a little bit of fire on that, so I think he was still somewhat consciously there, or in that.
Nobody has any idea, really.
No, hell no.
But from that window to where we were standing, where I was standing, It's a 125-yard shot.
Yeah. Yeah. Easy shot.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
it's not a sniper shot. I mean, all you gotta do is stick that AK out the window.
Yep. Yep.
So
So with that, that's where we landed. Next thing you know, that was it. So, and that's where it goes fast forward. I start hearing a bunch of stories. I talked to a bunch of the pilots. I talked to a bunch of people in politics, a bunch of people in different government agencies after that, and it was kind of the consensus that we weren't supposed to go down there, obviously. And we went against all orders and regulations. And I don't think the coalition commanders would ever even think for 1 second that Bremer would have authorized us to go down to do that. And a lot of people have said this. I'm not personally saying this, but they said, y'all spoiled somebody's plan that day because I don't think you guys were supposed to live through that.